ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar my dear friends, this is video number 37 and it is continuing from the video number 36. The same lady continued, if the world is only a dream, how should it be harmonized with the eternal reality? Maharshi replies, the harmony consists in the realization of its inseparateness from the self. Devotee puts a question, but a dream is fleeting and unreal. It is also contradicted by the waking state. Maharshi replies, the waking experiences are similar. Devotee, one lives 50 years and finds a continuity in the waking experience which is absent in dreams. Maharshi replies, you go to sleep and dream a dream in which the experiences of 50 years are condensed within the short duration of the dream, say 5 minutes. There is also a continuity in the dream, which is real now. Is the period covering 50 years of your waking state real, or the short duration of 5 minutes of your dream? The standards of time differ in the two states. That's all. There is no other difference between the experiences. Devotee, the spirit remains unaffected by the passing phenomena and by the successive bodies of repeated births. How does each body get the life to set it acting? Maharshi, the spirit is differentiated from matter and is full of life. The body is animated by it. Devotee, the realized being is then the spirit and unaware of the world. Maharshi, he sees the world but not as separate from the self. Devotee, if the world is full of pain, why should he continue the world idea? Maharshi, does the realized being tell you that the world is full of pain? It is the other one who feels the pain and seeks the help of the wise, saying that the world is painful. Then the wise one explains from his experience that if one withdraws within the self, there is an end of pain. The pain is felt so long as the object is different from oneself. But when the self is found to be an undivided whole, who and what is there to feel? The realized mind is the Holy Spirit, and the other mind is the home of the devil. For the realized being, this is the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is within you. That kingdom is here and now. Talk number 488. A group of young men asked, it is said that healthy mind can be only in a healthy body. Should we not attempt to keep the body always strong and healthy? Mercy, in that way there will be no end of attention to the health of the body. Devotee, the present experiences are the result of past karma. If we know the mistakes committed in the past, we can rectify them. Mercy, if one mistake is rectified, there yet remains the whole sanchita which is going to give you innumerable births. So that is not the procedure. The more you prune a plant, the more vigorously it grows. The more you rectify your karma, the more it accumulates. Find the root of karma and cut it off. 4th May 1938, talk number 489. Another group of visitors was asking the method of realization. In the course of a reply, Sri Bhagwan said, holding the mind and investigating it is advised for a beginner. But what is mind after all? It is a projection of the self. See for whom it appears and from where it arises. The I thought will be found to be the root cause. Go deeper, the I thought disappears and there is an infinitely expanded I consciousness that is otherwise called Hirane Garbha. When it puts on limitations, it appears as individuals. Talk 490. The English lady desired to have a private talk with Sri Bhagwan. She began, I am returning to England. I leave this place this evening. I want to have the happiness of self-realization in my home. Of course, it is not easy in the West, but I shall strive for it. What is the way to do it? Mercy. If realization be something outside you, a way can be shown consistent with the safety of the individual, his capacity, etc. Then the questions if it is realizable and if so, in what time will also arise. But here, realization is of the self. You cannot remain without the self. The self is always realized, but only you do not recognize the fact. The realization is now obscured by the present world idea. The world is now seen outside you, and the idea associated with it obscures your real nature. All that is needed is to overcome this ignorance, and then the self stands revealed. No special effort is necessary to realize the self. All efforts are for eliminating the present obscuration of the truth. A lady is wearing a necklace round her neck. She forgets it, imagines it to be lost, and impulsively looks for it here, there, and everywhere. Not finding it, she asks her friends if they have found it anywhere, until one kind friend points to her neck and tells her to feel the necklace round the neck. The seeker does so and feels happy that the necklace is found again. When she meets her other friends, they ask her if her lost necklace was found. She says yes to them, as if it were lost and later recovered. Her happiness on rediscovering it round her neck is the same as if some lost property was recovered. In fact, she never lost it nor recovered it, and yet she was once miserable and now she is happy. So also with the realization of the self. The self is always realized. The realization is now obscured. When the veil is removed, the person feels happy at rediscovering the ever realized self. The ever present realization appears to be a new realization. Now, what should one do to overcome the present ignorance? Be eager to have the true knowledge. As this eagerness grows, the wrong knowledge diminishes in strength until it finally disappears. Devotee, the other day you were saying that there is no awareness in deep sleep, but I have on rare occasions become aware of sleep even in that state. Maharshi, now of these three factors, the awareness, sleep, and knowledge of it, the first one is changeless. That awareness, which cognized sleep as a state, now sees the world also in the waking state. The negation of the world is the state of sleep. The world may appear or disappear. That is to say, one may be awake or asleep. The awareness is unaffected. It is one continuous whole over which the three states of waking, dream, and sleep pass. Be that awareness even now. That is the self. That is realization. There is peace, there is happiness. The lady thanked Maharshi and retired. 7th May 1938, talk number 491. Mr. Kishore Lal Masruwala, President Gandhi Seva Sangh, asked how is brahmacharya to be practiced in order that it may be successfully lived up to. Mercy, it is a matter of willpower. Sattvic food, prayers, etc. are useful aids to it. Devotee, young men have fallen into bad habits. They desire to get over them and seek our advice. Maharshi, mental reform is needed. Devotee, can we prescribe any special food, exercise, etc. to them? Mercy, there are some medicines, yogic asanas, and sattvic food are also useful. Devotee, some young persons have taken a vow of brahmacharya. They repent of the vow after the lapse of 10 or 12 years. Under these circumstances, should we encourage young persons to take the vow of brahmacharya? Maharshi, this question will not arise in the case of true brahmacharya. Devotee, some young men take the vow of brahmacharya without knowing its full implications. When they find it difficult to carry it out in practice, they seek our advice. Maharshi, they need not take a vow, but they may try it without the vow. Devotee, is Nastika Brahmacharya, lifelong celibacy, essential as a sadhana for self-realization? Maharshi, realization itself is Nastika Brahmacharya. The vow is not Brahmacharya. Life in Brahma is Brahmacharya and it is not a forcible attempt at it. Devotee, it is said that kama, desire, krodha, anger, etc. vanish in the presence of the Sadguru. Is it so? Maharshi, it is correct. Kama and krodha must vanish before self-realization. Devotee, but all the disciples of a Guru are not of the same degree of advancement. There are, there are found lapses in a few cases. Who is responsible for such lapses? Maharshi, there is no connection between self-realization and individual predispositions, sanskara. It is not always possible to live up to the idea of the Guru. Devotee, do not passions affect realization? Maharshi, the attempt to cleanse oneself will be automatic. Devotee, is it not necessary to wash off all impurities before realization? Maharshi, Dhyana will wash them clean. Devotee Gandhiji is often perplexed finding his intimate disciples going wrong. He wonders how it could happen and thinks that it is due to his own defects. Is it so, Maharshi? Sri Bhagwan smiled and answered after a few minutes. Gandhiji has struggled so long to perfect himself. All others will be right in due course. Devotee, is the Hindu view of reincarnation correct? Maharshi, no definite answer is possible for this question. There are pros and cons for the view. Even the present birth is denied, nat vivaham jatu nasham etc. Bhagavad Gita, we were never born etc. Devotee, is it not individuality anadi without beginning? Maharshi, investigate and see if there is any individuality at all. Ask this question after solving this problem. Nammalwar says, in ignorance I took the ego to be myself. However, with right knowledge, the ego is nowhere and only you remain as the self. Both monists and dualists are agreed on the necessity of self-realization. Let us do it first and then discuss the side issues. Advaita or Dvaita cannot be decided on theoretical considerations alone. If the self is realized, the question will not arise at all. Even Sukha had no confidence in his brahmacharya, whereas Sri Krishna was sure of his brahmacharya. Self-realization is designated by so many different names, Satya, Brahmacharya, etc. What is natural to the state of self-realization forms the disciplinary course in the other state, and the body idea will become extinct only on self-realization. With its extinction, the vasanas become extinct and all virtues will remain ever. Devotee, sanskaras are said to be persist even in a jnani. Mercy, yes, they are bhoga hetu, leading to enjoyment only and not bandha hetu. Devotee, this fact is often abused by fakes who pretend to be sadhus but lead vicious lives. They say it is prarabdha, remnant of past karma. How shall we mark off the fakes from the genuine sadhus? Maharshi, the one who has given up the idea of being the doer cannot repeat, this is my prarabdha. The Gyanis lead different lives is said for the benefit of others. The Gyanis cannot make use of this in explanation of their lives and conduct. After a few minutes, Sri Bhagwan remarked about Mr. Kishore Lal's weak body. Mr. Kishore Lal, I am asthmatic. I have never been strong. Even as a baby, I was not fed on my mother's milk. Mercy here, the mind is strong and the body is weak. Devotee, I wanted to practice Raja Yoga. I could not do it because of my physical unfitness. The mind also began to wander with the movement of the body. Maharshi, if the mind be kept immovable, let the body change as much as it likes. Devotee, is it not a handicap to the beginner? Maharshi, attempts must be made in spite of handicaps. Devotee, of course, but they will be momentary. Maharshi, the idea of momentary is one among so many other ideas. So long as the thoughts persist, this idea also will recur. Concentration is our own nature, that is being. There is effort now, but it ceases after self realization. Devotee, it is said to be the interval between flights of mind. Maharshi, this too is due to the activity of the mind. The devotee submitted that whenever he had thought that he had found something original, he later discovered that he was already forestalled. Sri Bhagavan pointed out that everything remains already in the germinal form and so there can be nothing new. 8th May 1938, talk number 492. In a suit by the temple against the government regarding the ownership of the hill, Sri Bhagwan was cited as a witness. He was examined by a commission. In the course of the examination in chief, Sri Bhagwan said that Shiva always remains in three forms. Number one, as Parbrahman. Number two, as Linga, here as the hill. And three, as Siddha. Brahma Rupa, Linga Rupa, Siddha Rupa. There are some tirthas on the hill. For example, Mulayapal Tirtha and Pada Tirtha said to have been originated for or by Virupakshi Devar and Guha Namasivayar. There is also Rishabh Tirtha. All of them are in good condition. Shiva originally appeared as a column of light. On being prayed to, the light disappeared into the hill and manifested as Linga, both are Shiva. Maharshi said, the buildings or ashrams grow around me. I do not wish for them. I do not ask for them nor prevent their formation. I have known that actions are done even though I did not want them to be done. So I conclude that they must happen and I therefore do not say no. Question: is the present Sarvadhikari to be your successor? Maharshi: yes, only management. That is, succession here means simple supervision. Question: is the work now being carried out by him? Maharshi: he simply supervises the work. The work is being done by others as well. 18th May 1938, talk number 493. An Andhra visitor. What will aid me to fix my attention always at thy holy feet? Maharshi, the thought, am I ever away from the feet? Devotee, how is this thought to be fixed? Maharshi, by driving away other thoughts which counteract this. Talk number 494. Sri Bhagwan had gone through Turn Eastwards, the whole book of Model Moseley, Pascaline, Mellert, and spoke for about an hour on that book. He said that the writing is full of feeling and the writer is sincere. The book is written in simple style and finishes off with remembrance of himself. A few errors here and there might be pointed out to be corrected in subsequent editions. Nandanar Charitra has been repeated twice under the mistaken notion that the incident was on two different occasions. Prithvi, AP, etc. Lingas are wrongly located. Sri Bhagwan thinks the book well written. He interprets, turn eastwards and turn to the source of light. This book is a good supplement to Mr. Brunton's book. 29th May 1938, talk number 495. A Cochin Brahmin professor in the Ernakulam College had an interesting conversation with Sri Bhagwan. Sri Bhagwan advised surrender to God. The visitor gave a glimpse of an ICS officer. The gentleman, while a student, was an atheist or an agnostic. He is very pious now, and the change has surprised everyone who had known him before. In further conversation, the following points were noteworthy. Desire Desires before they are renounced, Sri Bhagwan smiled and cut in. Fire might as well be put out by pouring spirit over the flames of life. The more the desires are fulfilled, the deeper grows the sanskara. They must become weaker before they cease to assert themselves. That weakness is brought about by restraining oneself and not by losing oneself in desires. Devotee, how can they be rendered weaker? Maharshi, by knowledge. You know that you are not the mind. The desires are in the mind. Such knowledge helps one to control them. Devotee, but they are not controlled in our practical lives. Maharshi, every time you attempt satisfaction of a desire, the knowledge comes that it is better to desist. Repeated reminders of this kind will in due course weaken the desires. What is your true nature? How can you ever forget it? Waking, dream, and sleep are mere phases of the mind. They are not of the self. You are the witness of these states. Your true nature is found in sleep. Devotee, but we are advised not to fall into sleep during meditation. Mercy, that is stupor you must guard against. That sleep which alternates with waking is not true sleep. That waking which alternates with sleep is not true waking. Are you now awake? You are not. You are required to wake up to your real state. You should not fall into false sleep nor keep falsely awake hands. लय संबंधायुते चित्तम विक्षिप्तम samyat punaha. What does it mean? It means that you should not fall into any of these states but remain amidst them in your true unsullied nature. Devotee, the states are of our mind only. Mercy, whose mind hold it and see. Devotee, the mind cannot be held. It is said that it is that which creates all these. It is known only by its effects and not in its true nature. Maharshi, quite so. You see the colors of the spectrum. Together they form the white light, but seven colors are seen through the prism. Similarly, the One Self resolves itself into so many phases: mind, world, body, etc. The Self is seen as the mind, the body, or the world. That is to say, it becomes whatever you perceive it to be. Devotee, These are difficult to follow in practice. I will hold on to God and surrender. Maharshi, that is the best. Devotee, how can I do my duties without attachment? There is my wife, there are my children. I must do my duty towards them. Affection is necessary. Am I right? Maharshi, how do you do your work in the college? Devotee laughing for wages. Mercy, not because you are attached, simply as doing your duty. Devotee, but my pupils expect me to love them. Mercy, detachment in the interior and attachment in appearance, says Yoga Vasishtha. 9th June 1938, talk number 496. A Swami belonging to Sri Ramakrishna Mission had a very interesting conversation with Sri Bhagwan, in the course of which Sri Bhagwan observed, Maharshi, avidya, ignorance is the obstacle for knowing your true nature even at the present moment. Devotee, how is one to get over avidya? Maharshi, Yana vidyate sa avidya. What is not is avidya. So it is itself a myth. If it really be, how can it perish? Its being is false and so it disappears. Devotee, although I understand it intellectually, I cannot realize the self. Mercy. Why why should this thought disturb your present state of realization? Devotee, the self is one, but yet I do not find myself free from the present trouble. Mercy, who says this? Is it the self which is only one? The question contradicts itself. Devotee, grace is necessary for realization. Maharshi, inasmuch as you being a man, now understand that there is a higher power guiding you. It is due to grace. Grace is within you. Iswaro Guru Rat Meti. Iswara, Guru and the Self are synonymous. Devotee, I pray for that grace. Maharshi, yes, yes. 10th June 1938, talk number 497. In the course of a different conversation, Sri Bhagwan said, Sattva is the light, Rajas is the subject, and Tamas is the object. Even the Sattva light is only reflected light. Were it pure, original light, there would be no modification in it. The Manokasa mind ether is reflected as Bhutakasa element ether, and objects are seen as being separate from the subject. Samadhi is present even in Vyavahardasa, practical life. Our activities, Vyavahara, have no existence apart from Samadhi. The screen is there when the pictures move past on it and also where they are not projected. Similarly, the self is always there in Vyavahara activity or in Shanti peace. Talk number 490. People often say that a Mukta Purusha should go out and preach his message to the people. They argue, how can anyone be a Mukta so long as there is misery by his side? True, but who is a Mukta? Does he see misery beside him? They want to determine the state of a mukta without themselves realizing the state. From the standpoints of the mukta, their contention amounts to this. A man dreams a dream in which he finds several persons. On waking up, he asks, have the dream individuals also vacant? It is ridiculous. Again, a good man says, it does not matter even if I do not get mukti. Or let me be the last man to get it so that I shall help all others to be muktas before I am one. It is all very good. Imagine a dreamer saying, may all these wake up before I do. The dreamer is no more absurd than the amiable philosopher aforesaid. Talk number 499. The Swami of Sri Ramakrishna Mission had more questions to ask. Swamiji, I went up the hill to see the ashrams in which you lived in your youth. I have also read your life. May I know if you did not then feel that there is God to whom you should pray or that you should practice something in order to reach this state? Mercy, read the life and you will understand jnana and ajnana are of the same degree of truth. That is, both are imagined by the ignorant. That is not true from the standpoint of a jnani. Devotee, is a jnani capable or likely to commit sins? Mercy, an ajnani sees someone as a jnani and identifies him with the body because he does not know the self and mistakes his body for the self. He extends the same mistake to the state of the jnani. The jnani is therefore considered to be the physical frame. Again, since the ajnani, though he is not the doer, yet imagines himself to be doer and considers the actions of the body his own. He thinks the jnani to be similarly acting when the body is active, but the jnani himself knows the truth and is not confounded. The state of a jnani cannot be determined by the ajnani and therefore the question troubles only the ajnani and never does it arise for the jnani. If he is a doer, he must determine the nature of the actions. The self cannot be the doer. Find out who is the doer and the self is revealed. Devotee, there could be no Advaita in actions. That is how the question arose. Mercy, but the stanza says there should be. This do is applicable only to the practitioner and not the accomplished ones. Devotee, yes, I quite see it. Moreover, Advaita cannot be practiced in one's dealings with the Guru, for consistently with it he cannot receive instructions. Maharshi, yes, the Guru is within and not without. A Tamil saint has said, O Guru, always abiding within me, but manifesting now in human form only to guide and protect me. What is within as the self manifests in due course as Guru in human shape. Devotee, so it amounts to this. To see a jnani is not to understand him. You see the jnani's body and not his jnanam. One must therefore be a jnani to know a jnani. Mercy, the jnani sees no one as an ajnani. All are only jnanis in his sight. In the ignorant state, one superimposes his ignorance on a jnani and mistakes him for a doer. In the state of jnana, the jnani sees nothing separate from the self. The self is all shining and only pure jnana. So there is no ajnana in his sight. There is an illustration for this kind of illusion or superimposition. Two friends went to sleep side by side. One of them dreamed that both of them had gone on a long journey and had strange experiences. On waking up, he recapitulated them and asked his friend if it was not so. The other one simply ridiculed him, saying that it was only his dream and could not affect the other. So it is with the Agyani who superimposes his illusive ideas on others. Regarding Agyana in early youth and Jnana at the present time, Sri Bhagwan said there is no Jnana as it is commonly understood. The ordinary ideas of Jnana and Agyana are only relative and false. They are not real and therefore not abiding. The true state is the non-dual self. It is eternal and abides whether one is aware or not. It is like Kartha Bharana or the tenth man. Devotee, someone else points it out, Maharshi, that one is not external. You mistake the body for the Guru, but the Guru does not think himself so. He is the formless self that is within you. He appears without only to guide you. Talk number 500. Devotee, when all the thoughts are banished and the mind is still or enters into a state of nothingness or emptiness, what is the nature of effort needed on the part of the seeker to have a pratyasa bhava of pratyaksha bhava of the sort? For example, seeing a mango as a mango. Mercy, who sees nothingness or emptiness. What is pratyaksha? Do you call perception of mango pratyaksha? It involves the play of karma, karta and karya, action, doer and deed. So it is relative and not absolute. Because you see a thing now, you say there is nothing afterwards. That is when you no longer see it. Both are functions of the mind. What lies behind both these assertions is pratyaksha. There is indriya pratyaksha, directly perceived by senses. Manasa pratyaksha, directly perceived by the mind, and Sakshat Pratyaksha, realized as the very being. The last one is true, the others are relative and untrue. Devotee, if no effort is needed, can the perpetuated state of emptiness of mind be called the state of realization? Maharshi, effort is needed so long as there is mind. The state of emptiness has been the bone of contention in all philosophies. Devotee, is there anything like Pratyaksha Bhava in the state of realization, or is realization merely felt or experienced as the very being or sthiti of the soul? Maharshi, Pratyaksha is very being and it is not feeling, etc. Devotee, until the seeker realizes that he is the sort, the above questions arise from him, the former. Maharshi, true. See, if you are the seeker, the self is often mistaken for the knower. Is there not the self in deep sleep? For example, nescience. Therefore, the self is beyond knower and knowledge. These doubts are in the realm of mind. To speak from this point of view, the advice is to keep the mind clear, and when Rajas and Tamas are wiped off, then the Sattva mind alone exists. So the I vanishes in Sattva. Una halkam. Jnana chakshus does not mean that it is an organ of perception like the other sense organs. Jnana meva chakshu. Television, etc. are not functions of jnana chakshu so long as there is a subject and also an object. It is only relative knowledge. Jnana lies beyond relative knowledge. It is absolute. The self is the source of subject and object. Now ignorance prevailing. The subject is taken to be the source. The subject is the knower and forms one of the triads whose components cannot exist independent of one another. So the subject or the knower cannot be the ultimate reality. Reality lies beyond subject and object. When realized, there will be no room for the doubt. Vidyate hृदय ग्रंथि चिद्यते sarva samsayaha. The heart note is snapped. Doubts are set at rest. That is called pratyaksha and not what you are thinking of. Avidyanasa is alone self-realization. Self-realization is only ovapatrika. Self-realization is only a euphemism for elimination of ignorance. So I'll end this video here. Next video number 38 will start with talk number 501. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Namaskar my dear friends.